and welcome to Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge World Championship, episode 10. I got something to say about this episode, as people probably thought I would have something to say about this episode, and I just think I need to get a lot of stuff off my chest. I don't know if there is an MVP and LVP for this past week, but if there is one, I'll mention it, and then we'll get to some comments from my Thursday's review and recap. So, without further ado, where to begin? I am at my wit's end with this season and trying to put logic in terms of the decisions or lack thereof of decisions that people want to make in this game. The gameplay has me baffled. After the daily challenge, coming back to the challenge house, and then what commences there, where we have Jordan who wants to send himself into elimination, not even talking to his partner Kaz. The same thing with Tori, where I guess I can't get too mad at Tori because she brings up the idea with only Theo, doesn't even say, hey, I'm definitely gonna do this, I just gotta, she actually says, this is what I'm thinking, this is my rationale for wanting to send myself into elimination, and then goes and talks to Danny, who says, no, thank you, we're never doing that. But on the other hand, Jordan was talking to Casey and was like, I'm definitely gonna go in, I'm not saying your name. I guess my frustration starts with both Tori and Jordan wanting to send themselves into elimination on the terms of trying to be selfless, but also being selfish. Tori doesn't want to say Casey and Jordan's name. One, she cares about them and is trying to be a good partner in the alliance that they're in with the three of them. But at the end of the day, there's individual motivation here for Tori to want to send herself into elimination and not send Casey and Jordan, because they're probably going to be on more seasons and they have friends who are also going to be on those seasons. And if Tori was to turn on either one of them, well, that could jeopardize 39, 40, 41, however many seasons that she's going to be asked to come back over and over and over again. Now, Jordan is kind of in the similar camp. I mean, he has thrown himself into eliminations in earlier seasons. This is nothing new to him of being not scared of going into eliminations, but on the basis of when he did that in Free Agents, he had this beef with Bananas. He wanted to prove that he was better than Bananas at that time. And also, in the way the game was set up, if he took out Bananas at that point in Free Agents, he may have had a clear path to the finals. And if he made it to those finals, he could have won those finals. This season is completely different on why he wants to volunteer. He wants to not talk to his partner, volunteer them to go into elimination, all on the basis as to not have Tori have to worry herself on either saying Jordan's name or Casey's name at the end of the day. Everybody just wants to kind of just give everybody a free pass. Let's not play this game. I mean, my other main frustration about how this all plays out is that the players are having a really tough time in this game. Not because they're trying to stay out of elimination, not because that they are trying to persuade somebody who is the swing vote to vote with them so that they stay out of elimination. Some of these players are getting hooked on just the basic game mechanics of saying players' names. You signed up for this knowing that that was a possibility, yet at the very thought of having to say Casey's name, where if you say Casey's name, you're also turning your back on the Vacation Alliance and all the Big Brother players that will be on upcoming seasons, very near future seasons for you, that it has you shaking in your boots, that you would rather risk your position in the game, or at least give lip service of putting your game on the line for them, so that way your paycheck on 38, 40, 41, USA 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, is all safe. You're not even thinking about your partner. A partner who has a family back home. This is life-changing money and somebody's life that you are kind of disregarding in the sense that you're saying, well, I know I'm going to get the call back. I know I can get a ticket back to any season, so I'm just going to put my game on the line. Also, I'll put somebody else's game in danger as well, and hopefully we can win. I know Jordan is always going to be the guy that's like, I can win at any single thing at any single time in the game. And you know what is the craziest part is that it didn't even matter at the end of the day. We had 10 minutes of Tori talking to Danny, trying to see if he would want to volunteer to go into elimination, which was no, that's definitely not going to happen. Then you have this kind of big blow up with Jordan and Kaz at the pool in the confessional, all for it to kind of simmer down, because before even going to the voting ceremony, Jordan and Kaz make a deal with Emily and Yes. So what did this absolutely accomplish? Nothing. And honestly, I think doing this lip service could be producing more harm than just straight up being I'm sorry, Casey, I said you're my number one, but I have to look out for Jordan. I can never really say his name. You understand, and I'm going to put a vote on you. Because Casey isn't dumb. Casey knows exactly where she stands, especially being in an alliance with Jordan and Tori. She even says that when Jordan is telling her not to worry, I'm never going to say your name, and I'll go in for you. Casey is I'll believe it when I see it, but honestly, if Tori was in this position, I have no doubt that Jordan would want to send himself in to save her. But for me, not so much. And so walking around the house telling people, or maybe just floating the idea out there, maybe I'll send myself in. Don't worry about it. I'll never say your name. Well, all of that just completely goes out the window because we go to the voting ceremony, everybody stalemates, and once everybody stalemates, it's plain to see who Emily and Yes will target to throw into an elimination against Darrell and Kiki. What's going to happen next week? Let's think about this. Theo, Sarah, Emily, and Yes are upstairs when the voting ceremony happens. I guess we're just going to do another stalemate, and whoever of Emily, Yes, and Sarah and Theo win or lose, they'll just make the decision because they'll just burn vote on each other. They'll go around in a circle. If it is Troy and Casey at the table with Danny and Tori and Jordan and Kaz, are they just going to just say stalemate? Why even have a voting ceremony at that point if we're just going to do yet another stalemate? Because who cares at that point? I think I'm just frustrated, I think I'm frustrated. The thought of the global MVPs coming into this game partnered up with MTV Legends, the cast was stacked from the very beginning, and it just feels like people are just afraid of future consequences when this is all just part of the game. This is the part of the game that you signed up for. And it just seems like everybody is cool to just coast into the finals when this should be the most intense, pressurized stretch of the game heading into the finals. I don't know what else to say. I'm completely spinning my wheels trying to think of how to justify why players would want to do this kind of thing, and it's all just because of future seasons. That's all I can think of. It's not for this season. It's not because of anything for this season. It's because of future seasons and their future paychecks and their future per diems and their future alliances. And it's so dumb, in my opinion. It just makes this season feel like just another one in the books from the legends who do the seasons over and over and over again, that get cast over and over and over again, that they're I'm willing to sacrifice myself here as long as you got my back in 39 and 40 because I know I'm going to be on those. So after recording the first part, I decided that there was no MVPs and LVPs from this past week. So without further ado, here it is. The first comment in the comment section is Diva, who says, did anyone see when Kiki was pulled into the water and she screamed? I was cracking up. I will say that editing was a gem because that was really funny. She was on the shore, getting everything ready, maybe getting her goggles or her cap ready, and then all of a sudden just Darrell just dives into the water and she just gets yanked. It was really, really funny. Next comment comes from Stacy, who says, I read that Emily gave Sarah the answer and Jordan gave it to Tori. That's how Darrell came in last. Now, not only did Stacy say this, but Jesse also said this, saying, according to J Challenge, a cast member confirmed that Emily and Jordan gave Sarah and Tori the answer in the daily so that Darrell and Kiki would lose. That is so disheartening. I mean, I understand again that everybody has the players that they're looking out for. That was just so unfair. We were so close to having Danny and Tori coming in last place, possibly being sent directly into the elimination, and then you have Tori and Danny just being let's just get 16. What? How do you just guess the correct answer like that? Now we know why. They were given the answers. So thank you for that fun fact or not so fun fact, Jesse and Stacy. I really, really appreciate it. Disappointed for sure, but now let's go on to Spoon414, who says that deal and voting was the biggest cop-out from these supposed legends. Jordan this episode showed he is very inconsistent in his choice of words. He should have had Kaz's best interest over anyone else. If you're gonna play the game, play the darn game. I'd vote for my ex quick, fast, and a hurry. Yes, I agree 1,000%, and I wanted to highlight this because we share the same sentiment. If you're going to play the game, play the darn game. Don't give anybody an easy out. Oh, I want to send myself in and jeopardize my not only my spot in this game. Now, if this was an individual game, have at it. Let Tori and Jordan do whatever they want to do. If this was just a solo game, they feel like they should go in, let them have at it. But they have partners to consider. And I have to say, again, I kind of take Tori out of this, or not. I'm not going in as hard with Tori because she kind of just floated the idea to Theo and then had that conversation with Danny. And it was a nice, calm, cool, collected conversation. Both parties were hearing each other. Jordan, on the other hand, was basically giving him and Kaz into the elimination, telling Casey that he was definitely going to do it. And then they had this big argument. Multiple arguments. It was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous all around to even suggest throwing yourself into elimination and then being that like hard-headed or stubborn to be like, no, we're going in. And if you don't want to go in, then I feel like I shouldn't even give 100% because you're worried about going into elimination. I mean, everybody's stacked. Of course I'd be worried to go into elimination, but also don't give anybody an easy out. Vote. Actually do a vote. Actually show where cards lie. Everybody knows exactly where everybody's feelings are for and who are they for and where everybody's votes would go. But everybody's just kind of in denial. Everybody just wants to be like, well, if there's a shroud of mystery, then Casey doesn't know that if she's really my number one or not. We all know where Casey lies, where Tori lies, where Jordan lies with each other. So why are we spinning and playing this game within a game? This mental game within a game? Just vote. Play the darn game. It's a simple game mechanics, and everybody is getting like completely stumped over this. Like, oh, we gotta vote? I gotta say two people's names? I gotta say two teams? Who? What? When did that become a thing? Can I vote for Kellyanne and Tristan and Jody and Benha even though they're not here? Well, this is my best friends at this table. Well, here's the thing. How about you win into power and then you won't have to say your friends' names at all? Case closed. Cameron comes in with a comment saying, season 38 got really boring, but at least we didn't have the Vacation Alliance volunteering themselves just to not say a name. The lack of willingness to compete has ruined the season for me. Good luck ever casting another Rivals-style season. The global contestants must be scratching their heads when they are watching the MTV legends do everything possible to avoid any sort of interpersonal challenge. Exactly, Cameron. I can't fault season 38 because even when people were winning, they were willing to say names. They had to say 4 names. Now it's like just voting people to be nominated to then have somebody have to then say one of the 2 people's names. And yeah, they don't want to compete. They don't want to either win the dailies to be into power, or they don't even want to vote if they can't even win into power. It's the most frustrating thing in my opinion. This is like the final time I want to talk about this, but I'm worried that it's going to happen yet again next week. We've had the burn votes. Now we're having people not even willing to just vote in general. Shalon comes in with a comment saying, Tori has jumped off the deep end. Why would anyone throw themselves into an elimination when you literally don't have to? If you don't want to put your friends in, don't play the game. But this also goes for Jordan as well, who is just on the basis that he doesn't want to make his ex-fiance have to say a name. And this is the thing though. People can be like, you're being too harsh on Tori and Jordan. I understand if people are going to be upset with me being this frustrated with how they're playing the game this late in the game and wanting to volunteer themselves to go into an elimination when they don't have to. But the thing is, if you think about the other MTV legends that could have been on the season or who were even on this season. Seldom do I think that if you gave them the option or if they were in this position, would they say their names? I mean, Bananas would definitely never try to volunteer himself. I think the last time he volunteered himself to go into elimination was the Bananas backpack, and he learned his lesson. You don't see Casey trying to volunteer herself to go into elimination. She's not looking at Jordan being like, oh, no, you don't volunteer. I'll volunteer. Like, she knows, like, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to put my name out there. I'm not going to try to let anybody off the hook. If they want to send me in, they got to say my name. Don't give anybody an easy out. Bananas wouldn't volunteer. Jody wouldn't volunteer. CT wouldn't volunteer. I know John A wouldn't volunteer. Like, nobody who was on this cast would probably volunteer. Wes did volunteer to go into All-Stars 3, but this late in the game, I don't think he would have. Max comes in with a big comment, but I think an important comment, saying, I thought TJ's comment at the beginning of the elimination was weird to include the final edit. TJ says, you reached a stalemate, I warned you not to let this happen again, but then didn't follow through with any kind of twist of threat. And it just played out exactly like the 4 teams wanted it to, where they didn't have to make the decision. I wish there had been a twist to throw them off their calculated move, like Darrell and Kiki picking who they want, or Darrell and Kiki being safe, and then Yes and Emily had to choose between 2 of the stalemated teams. TJ's comment/threat just felt empty and reinforced that the stalemate was a safe and okay choice to make. I would have loved a switch up to where Darrell and Kiki could have chosen anybody that they would want to go against in the elimination. I think that would have been awesome. I think that would have been a good middle ground and a good switch up. I can see that the challenge not wanting to change up their rules because they established that this was the stalemate rule from the very beginning, and if they change it up now, it seems like maybe they're rigging it or they're trying to change something up because of a storyline that production wants to push forward. So I understand why they didn't change anything up for the stalemate rule, but personally, and somebody who would have loved to have seen a switch up and had the teams at the voting ceremony who was just like, whatever, let's cop out and everything and just do a stalemate, I would have loved to have then been on the other side of being like, now we don't know who's going to go into elimination. And I would love to have seen their reactions and who Darrell and Kiki would have chosen to go into elimination. Mocha comes in with a comment saying, Darrell seems to be one of the best partners. I loved watching him teach and work with Kiki. It sucks to see them go. As an Aussie, I'm proud of Kiki, and I hope Troy really dominates in the next ep. Thanks, Drew, for all your hard work and videos. You're awesome. No, you're awesome. And thank you so much for watching my videos. I, too, am very proud of Kiki and Troy. They are some of my new favorite challengers, and I hope to see them more on the challenge and get even promoted into the flagship show. I want to see more of them. They really left an impression after the Challenge Australia, and then hearing that they were going to be on this show and how well they have done on this show. And yeah, I am too very proud of Kiki, but I am very sad to see her and Darrell get eliminated in this past week's episode. Tara agrees with us and says, hate seeing my faves leave the game like this. It is. Diana comes in with a comment saying, I have to wonder, after knowing what's at stake for next challenge, will Jordan and Kaz still throw it, or will they go for it? Now, if it was me, I would make that deal in a heartbeat and not honor it. You know, you're that close to the finals. I'll say whatever I can say to stay out of elimination. And then if I have a chance to punch my ticket to the finals and not have to worry about possibly going into an elimination next week, I'm going to do it. I'm going to cross that finish line, and I'll dance across that finish line and punch my ticket to the final. But Jordan is a man of his word. I think Kaz also wants to honor that deal as well. And so I do think that they wouldn't try to finish and not get first place, and thus be kind of vulnerable going into next week. And the final comment comes from Juan, who says, I'm so glad this mess of a season is almost over so we can move on to All-Stars. Here, I think All-Stars is closer than what we all think. I think it's going to be premiering either in June or July at the very, very latest. They've been holding on to that season for so long. I've been waiting. I actually thought that there was going to be a cast and maybe a trailer drop this past week, but nothing yet. But I too am waiting and hoping for All-Stars, as this season has started to kind of slog on here from last week and now this week, where I'm just like so frustrated. But that is it for this week's video. What do you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think about this season? Are you still very excited about this season and that it's almost to the end? What do you think about both Jordan and Tori wanting to send themselves into elimination? Did you just do a giant eye roll? Or do you thought that that was noble of them to do? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out, thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge World Championship content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.